Hi everyone, Alex here, and today we'll be discovering how to migrate your project from Vue 2 to Vue 3. But before that, we need to understand why do we need to make it? Because a lot of projects are on Vue 2 still, but the new standard is Vue 3. So why do we need to migrate everything? Why everything is good, everything's working, why do we need to make it? So here is some things that you need to know. Firstly, that's in general like it's basic, but it's true. So it's performance improvements. Because of virtual DOM improvement on Vue 3, it much more faster. It can help you to build your project faster. It can help you to scale them to large applications much more easier, and in general the improvement of that would be much more stable than on Vue 2. So a lot of warnings, a lot of preparing of your website would be like cancelled because Vue 3 works really faster than Vue 2. Also, there is one I think is really the most important thing. It's a composition API. Basically, composition API is how you write your script part on your React. It's a little bit similar to. So, just writing everything not in the object. That's all. So you're creating methods like functions, you create variables as constant, etc., not in the data property, but instantly while you're creating like a simple variable in JavaScript. And in general, it's much more understandable, especially for new developers. So if you, for example, a React developer, it would be much easier to go to Vue 3 right now than on an Angular or another project, because you would understand how does it work, because options, honestly speaking, works a little bit different. I think you know that. Also, Vue 3 is groundly supporting on TypeScript, and I think it would be like maximum one more year, and that would be like a gold standard to work with your application only on TypeScript, especially in Vue 3. So of course supporting of that is much more better than on Vue 2, believe me. Also, we have like one much more interesting thing, that's smaller bundler size. So because of this smaller, because of the 3 shaking capability, it allows us to unused code to be implemented for production bundles. So in general, we reduce a lot of size that we don't a lot of like unnecessary things that not so important for us right now. That's why Vue 3 is better choice even in this way. Also, reaction system, it's groundly based on proxy instead of object defined property, as I remember. Yeah, object defined property. I have some notes, so that's that. Now, not to give you mistaken information, I just make sure I am telling you the right things. That's why. So that groundly changes the game, because proxy is newer thing and it works faster and it works a little bit better than object defined property. And if you're using Vue 3, there are a lot of these React properties, it would be much better. That's how it works. Also, there are some more features like Vue 3, fragments, teleport, suspense, also for handling asynchronous operations. So there are a lot of things. Also, I think there would be much more. I think it's also right now the community is larger on Vue 3 on composition API than on Vue 2. Yeah. And of course, a new system that would be on a web, there be compatible with Vue 2, Vue 3, sorry, not Vue 2. You need to know that also, because it's really important. And that's why I really recommend you to use Vue 2 rather than Vue use Vue 3 rather than Vue 2. Sorry, I just missing sometimes the words. So I hope you will take it, and I won't make such more mistakes on the next videos. So we have our Visual Studio Code, and let's go to create an application on Vue 2 and how we can migrate it. So firstly, that you need to know, honestly speaking, it's not so easy process that it can be imagined. It's harder than you think. So what can we do? Firstly, we can just create our project. So we can like view, write view create and let it be test project, view create test, and it will give us, so we can create that on Vue 3 or on Vue 2. Let's take it on Vue 2. Initializing and all the things. I think this is not good name for that, so let's delete this one and let's create basic hello world. Yeah, I think that would be better on Vue 2. Yeah, so while we'll be waiting, I will tell you that if you would like to use Vue 3 and in general Vue, I don't know if a lot of people are known that, but I recommend you to use Vue DevTools in a Google Chrome extensions. It would really help you to work with Vue applications. Also, believe me, I know what I'm talking about. So let's run this project. Let's remove this dollar. So bundling, and here we go. So let's take it, go here, and here is our application. So if we're going to src app.vue, we have our component, and we have an error, no Babel configuration detects. That's not a big deal for right now. Let's go, I think, to go hello world component, and even ignore I think let's be low. So what we can do and what we can see. So we see a just simple template of our application. Let's delete the div and let's delete everything that we have next. So everything that's inside template, and we have something like that. And let's create data return msg and be hello world. And honestly speaking, we don't worry about the styling, we just want it to work, so we can just delete all of those things. And we have one problem. Oh yeah, of course. So we need to make it like this one. Yeah. So also it doesn't matter. So that's what we have right now. We have Vue, hello, project, and all the things, and I think we can just take it from here. We can make it here because we don't need it. We don't need any dependencies. We can call it app, and we can delete our components folder. Yeah, I think that would be good. Yep, good. Okay, so this is our project, and you can see that it is starting, everything is good, nice. But how we can use our Vue 3, how we can go from the second version to the third version. So firstly, it's not so easy as it can be seen. So for example, maybe you can find that, I didn't find that, like Vue migration guide, because there is one official from Angular. I didn't find that on Vue 3 because there are not so often changes. That's why like there are not so things. But what we can do, we can firstly clear a thing to see what I'm writing. And the next thing what we can do, I think we'll make it a little bit higher. We can write npm install Vue latest. So that would improve our Vue project. So it was 2.6, now it's 3.5. But in general, let's rerun our project. Npm run serve. Could be a problem, but maybe not, we'll see. I think yeah, we have a problem here. Why we have a problem? Because of the configurations and all of the stuff that we have. So, what we can do? Firstly, what I recommend you to do, it's to use a composition API. So here we can use a setup. When you're writing setup, you see that our export default shows like an error. And now we can change it to much more easier way of working with your application. So firstly, if you're not using setup, for example, you're using mounted method, you can use something like this: console log this.msg. But when you're working with your Vue 3 project and you would like to use composition API, so we can make it like that one, and we can rewrite scripts. So let's write setup. And firstly, we just create a variable that calls like const msg that equals to hello world, like in simple JavaScript application. Then to use mounted, we just need to write on mounted, and it is told by VS Code to be imported from Vue, so we can use like import, and here is it, on mounted, everything's nice, and it's like a simple function. So what we would like to have, we would like to console log it, and we don't need to use this because it's not an object site, so it's like in simple JavaScript application. So that's how we write it. And also, if you remember, this hello world is reactivity, so it's reacted, and if we will change that inside of our application, that will be immediately changed everywhere. So here we can control it, and if we don't need to have a reactivity, we just can create const msg. That would be like stable one, it won't be changed reactively. But if you would like to change that reactively, so what we can do, we can write it like ref, and we can import, okay, it doesn't tell you to import it from here, but we can write ref import from Vue, and we would have the same example as here. So everyone who is working with simple Vue 2, you can see significantly difference from Vue 2. So that's what I'm telling to you. But if you're working on React, it's much more understandable for you than Vue 2. So that's how it works. And also it's interesting to me. So let's fix this problem. One moment. So to fix this problem, what we need to do? Firstly, we can see on the error what is written to us. So the error is in config and in main.js. In general, you can just take this text and go to your Google to write an error in a Vue 3, and in general, when you're making such big migrations, The problem is in the main.js, so it is in React, in Angular, Svetel, it doesn't matter. So the problem, most of all, in big updates, first it would be in your main.js file, because it's written on like differently. So, for example, here, how we can make it. So before that, we would be using like Vue, rendering, app mounted on our app ID div. So now it's easier. So what we can do? So first we can comment that, and we can write const app equals to create app. It's instantly tells us to import it from Vue, and we write in round brackets and telling what we want to create an app on, based on what? On app. And we're importing this thing, so it works like here. We're making enter, and then we can write, for example, app.mount hashtag app. That's all what we need to do. So like core importing of Vue was changed. That's why we need to make such thing. Okay, so also one important thing, that is production tip was removed, and you can check it here on this link. Configuration production T was removed in Vue 3. Use production build was only showed up when and remember, this T will no longer show up, so you don't to write this configuration that was earlier like default, so we don't need to write it right now. And let's see on our app.vue. So it works with our hello world. Let's write here too, and you'll see that that would be changed. Everything is good. We're going to inspect, and also we can write, you can see here ref implementation hello world 2. Everything works, so we can just write a value and you'll see its initial value. And what we can do more, we can check how does it work with export default setup. So we can relaunch that, and here is it. So we see that it works as it was working before, but you know that right now it's recommended to use composition API, so with setup. But if you don't want to, it also works. So thanks you guys to watching this video. It was about how to migrate your project on Vue 2 to Vue 3, and I hope you like this video. You'll support me to make them more. I'm going, like you see, there's not a lot of videos on my YouTube channel, but I'm proving myself. Sometimes it could be nervous, but I want to make everything as much good as I can. So see you on the next videos.